Hello everyone, my name is TheMadScorpyon and welcome to another recent update in Destiny 2. So with the big weeks going on, Revenant begins next week and Festival Lost ends with Revenant. Of course, that means Act 2 will be starting up soon and there will be some new content available. There was a dev stream earlier that was covering all the basis on some of the new stuff coming without spoilers, but basically just new content, a new roguelike, new teasers into weapons coming, as well as a teaser into the new exotic weapon that will be coming in the mission with Act 3. Aside from some of that, I have my own video on the details and highlights of that if you wish to view. Aside from that, the week at Destiny at large, again, Festival Lost is ending, which means that Haunted Sectors, the Festival weapons, as well as the armor sets, the Eververse store, anything that is Festival Lost will be gone with the reset next Tuesday, which won't be back until next Festival Lost 2025, if we even still have it. So if there's anything you need, whether it be objectives, titles, weapons, cosmetics, get it now because there's a good chance that you may not get it in the future. Starting with the week at large, we do currently have a Gambit booster for ranks, which if there's literally anyone still playing Gambit nowadays, do let me know because you can earn your ranks twice as fast now for those 5 people. Next, into the Nightfall, the strike is currently the Heist Battlegrounds Moon, which in order of sections, the first is an easy, just add dense section. You have to keep an eye out for the laser. The middle room defense section is probably the hardest section of this strike, and the boss, it isn't exactly difficult, but the main boss is a sniper Scorn, which at the same time with a void burn makes it very easy to pick you off in one round. So just keep that in mind when running this. It's best to do it slow to be steady. Then the weapon available at the same time is the Plug.One fusion rifle. Its first return since its initial inception and a refresh, of course. It is a solid fusion rifle in its own respect, and imagine because it is arc, it will come with all the great usual arc perks, likely an eddy current or a volt shot, maybe even a conductive feedback. I honestly don't know though because I haven't kept an eye, although you will see a display on hand just in case for my hindsight, just to see if it has some decent enough perks. Wrapping up our ritual sections for Crucible, we have the lab still as class clash going on. The 66 is supremacy and control, 3v3 is elimination, and its usual competitive, and as always, rumble. No Iron Banner, and trials will be back this weekend, but keep in mind, once we go, pretty soon we'll be having another Iron Banner in the next few weeks, and I believe the Iron Banner wraps up right before the Dawning, so just keep that in mind. Into our featured activities, starting with the raids, we do have the ever so expected Garden of Salvation. So keep in mind with that it of course means that all of the drops, the red borders, will be infinite, and it will be a lot easier to farm out challenge modes in case you want the double drops. So it is the time to go after all those new red borders. In the same aspect, there is King's Fall, which does have red borders to hunt. It's just not as pressing as it is the always loot, and it has always been red bordered, so it's just clean up at this time. But in case you're still hunting the Touch of Malice, you can of course farm out Oryx until you can get one for each of your fire team. Into the dungeons, we do have 2 options, not either of them too great. Spire of the Watcher is an okay dungeon. Its master mode is harder to farm for Artifice than other options. Although there is no craftables, there is some nifty enough weapons from Spire. The only real reason to go for it, I would say, is to farm out Hierarchy of Needs. A solid bow, especially once you get the catalyst from the master mode. Although in the next aspect, there is Pit of Heresy that is not so great because there is no Artifice armor. There is some unique drops, but not excessively worth finding. And the exotic is quest-based, not on a RNG basis. So there isn't any reasons to farm it unless you literally just need the pinnacle drop. Then into the weekly featured mission, it is the Star-Crossed mission for the Wish Keeper exotic strand bow. It is solid. I don't think I finished it completely. It is certainly a bow worth going for, although the Star-Crossed mission on its own, it's just kind of, you know, it's there. It's a nice one, at least for the ones through, but I wouldn't say it's one worth farming. But if you still need some of the red borders that drop from the mission itself in the associate season, I might say that is the one reason to go for it. Into our raid challenges for Salvation's Edge, we start off with the Scenic Route challenge, which again, still don't know what that is because I really don't care about Salvation's Edge anymore. The Crota's End is still bugged and for some reason not giving challenge modes. The Root of Nightmares is the Crossfire second encounter challenge. With King's Falls being featured, it is all challenges active per the usual. Vow of the Disciple is Defenses Down, which is third encounter challenge. Vault of Glass is Strangers in Time, which I believe was Gatekeeper challenge. The Deepstone Crypt is Red Rover, which is security or first encounter. Garden of Salvation, once again. Challenge modes all active, being the featured raid. And then the Last Wish is the Forever Fight challenge. And speaking with our raids, the Master Mode focus for the Salvation's Edge, it is resilience focused, and King's Fall is giving you recovery. And routing it out, we do have for Expert Dares of Eternity, Tegan, Cabal, and Zydron for the Order. Now, going into our seasonal challenges, we do have one that is a little bit extra. We have Collect Nuggets, the legendary reagents used to make tonics in Idaho's laboratory. If you've been playing or gathering a bunch, this should be already auto-completed, so there shouldn't be anything you need to do for them. Next is the Booby Trapper for build or upgrading defenses in Onslaught Salvation. So if you wish to actually finish this, you actually have to participate, just don't hold on to those scrap. Then there is the Stunning Champions usual one. If you want to find one champion, just stun it over and over again, especially health regen one, you can do that. Otherwise, just run a few expert lost sectors or maybe run a GM. They will be champions everywhere and you'll be stunning them a lot. And the next is the Trials That Define Us, which ironically is not Trials only. It's basically just completing Crucible matches. However, there is bonus progress for Trials and Victories. Once again, as a warning, anything in the Festival of the Lost event tab right here, whether it be event card, cosmetics, finishers, ornaments, anything, all of it will be gone with next Tuesday's reset. So if there's anything that you want, whether it be silver, bright dust, or otherwise, go ahead and pick them up now. Otherwise, they will not be available ever again until the next Festival of the Lost, which will be not until next year's October or fall season. Just keep that in mind. Going into the main store up top, we have the Clinging Cobweb, which this is a shader that's meant to match the spider set from the last year's set of armor. I know that was some weird word phrasing, but if you wanted the colors from the spider set of last year, this is that set. Next is the Flower Child, which there is no good way to say what this is. It is definitely eye vomit. I'm going to make you look at it just for a little bit longer, just so you can understand what I'm telling you here. Next is the Moonrise Projection, which is just another one of those ghost projections. It's not too bad, but then again, who even cares about ghost projections nowadays? The Stygian Steed, a vehicle which I believe was from last year, which it certainly has a very Ghost Rider ethereal look to it, and pretty much basic flame, but otherwise a very menacing looking sparrow, especially after the tuning, so, you know, it's as fast as always of them. Next is the Strange Brew, which is a multiplayer emote, which is just you making some potions, which nowadays is actually more relevant than ever. Wrapping up with our main page of flares and transmats, we have Skelligal, which is one of those ones that doesn't look too great on some, but when it looks good, it just plain looks good. It is pretty much a black and I would say a yellowish brown. Pretty much not too much there, but the glow is a nice yellow goldish glow. So if you have the right weapon, it does make it look all the best. Next is Blood Mane, another limited time one from seasons past Festival of the Lost, which now that I'm actually looking at it, it gives me Grimlock color vibes. You know, a nice white, gold, and red. But it's hard to... I will admit, I don't have the greatest armor to evaluate shaders. Next is Reanimated Verve, which the chestplate kind of matches it. It's a dirty white, dirty red, and dirty yellow, all combined into each other and just kind of there. You kind of look zombie, but not really. And again, Flower Child. We shall stare at it and suffer together. Next, into transmats, we have the Arachnophile, which we've seen in previous weeks, and basically just, you know, spawning into spiders. The next is the Murder of Crows, which also spawning into crows. And my personal favorite, the Batwing entrance, in case you wish to look as much as Oryx as you want to be. Into some of our big ticket items, we have the Have a Balloon emote, one that's new to this year. Something new and, of course, available for Red Dust for free. If you want to creep out your friends and be a little bit Pennywise, in addition to the dance that is the Pennywise dance, that I think is from Festival. Next is the Peekaboo emo, which, not very spooky, but it's just kind of, you know, that, in case you wanted to be invisible. Then the Spinneret Shell, which is a chittering spider shell for your ghost, which I'm not going to lie, unnerved me a little bit seeing the mandibles and the little things right there. But, you know, maybe don't get this if you're an arachnophobe. It might remind you too much. The next is the Decollated Dread, which is just kind of, I couldn't tell a theme aside from pumpkin. That is this ship. There isn't much else to say about it. It's a pumpkin. It's got an evil green look. The next is Majestic Winnie, which I shouldn't have to say anything about this. It's a Star Horse broom sparrow. And it's super sparkly. That's all I should need to say. And the Pride Glass ornament for the Fighting Lion, ode back to the Year of Forsakens, Festival of the Lost, with a pretty solid ornament. May not be spooky, but is certainly cleaner than regular Fighting Lion. And wrapping it up, as always, a basic ghost projection with the pumpkin projection. Or a pumpkin projection. Is that how you say it? No, that's different. But I digress. With that, that is everything in the Eververse store, and of course, everything with Festival of the Lost. Per the usual with this event, anytime I say, if you need anything, get it now, or at least get it while you can, because if you can't, it won't be until next time, and even still, you might lose out on something that is exclusive to this year. With that, my name is TheMadScorpyon. I will see you in the next video.